We get this coverage from you from Defence Services Asia 2024 here in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I have Major General David Coghlan here with me from the Department of Defence, the Australian Department of Defence. He's going to give us an insight into Australia's participation at Defence Services Asia. He's also going to give a quick overview on his role within the Department of Defence. And Major General Coghlan, if you can just take us through your role and how you're assisting the Australian industry at a show like this.
Sure, thank you. I'm a very small part of a team that from the Department of Defence that seeks to help the Australian industry in the international markets. The Australian defence industry, as you said, is rapidly evolving, and we are high-tech and in niche areas. And we're particularly keen to support companies to come to shows like this so they can make contacts and we can help Australian industry develop. Malaysia has been very good we're a long and close relationship with the Malaysian Defence Forces, and so we're very pleased to be here to engage with our Malaysian neighbours, but also from around the world. And the Department of Defence and our Austrade representatives are here to help make those connections.
How important is support from the Department of Defence in ensuring that these companies are all able to congregate together and display their products at defence exhibitions like this?
Sure, look, it is important because we concentrate on small to medium companies, and it's expensive to come to shows like this. And so by providing a stand like this, those companies can actually come to the show without a big financial burden and do their business in an area they may not have been able to do that before.
We are now in day 3 of the show. This year's edition of Defence Services Asia is quite large, a number of levels at the show here. How has the response been for you in terms of delegations, in terms of companies coming to visit your companies here, but also talk to you and Department of Defence officials here?
Well, certainly. This DSA is much bigger than previous ones, and we've been surprised at how busy we are. Yesterday was one of our busiest days we've had at any trade show for quite some time, and a range of people from the most senior officers down to other companies established in contacts here. So it's certainly been worthwhile coming, and the SMEs, the small companies, so far have been very happy with their participation.
Major General Coghlan, I also want to ask of you, the Australian Defence Forces have a proud combat history. They're proven fighters world over. How important is the close cooperation between the Defence Forces and the Australian companies which are developing defence equipment, not only for Australia now, but the world?
Well, it's essential. Defence industry underpins the ability of the Australian Defence Force to fight. And the more sovereignty we can have over that, the quicker we get that item to the soldiers, sailor, airmen, the better the outcome is. So we hope never to fight, but if we have to fight, industry is a critical part of that play.
Thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the Australian defence industry is now visible at trade shows worldwide. If you're visiting a defence exhibition, the chances that you will find the Australian industry here is quite large. So do make sure you drop by. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the Australian Pavilion at Defence Services Asia 2024 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The Australian defence industry has a growing presence now at international defence shows worldwide. Now, we have a very interesting company here to bring to you. We've got Glenn Murray here. He's the CEO of an Australian defence company called the School of Information Operations. Glenn's is going to give us a brief insight into the company.
Yes, so we're a small Australian company. We're established in 2018. Our primary area of focus is electronic warfare, space and cyber, a few areas of our expertise. One of our main customers is obviously the Department of Defence. We also train our defence science technology people, our acquisition people as well. We've done over 150 courses for well over 1,000 students.
So Glenn, can you take us some of the work your company does? And I want to understand from you why it is so important. It's all in the details, I assume, when it comes to training. But just take me through the work your company does and some of the important contracts you have currently ongoing.
Yes, excellent. So electronic warfare is one of our big areas that we concentrate in, and all of our instructors are ex-military personnel. They have a wealth of experience. And with the electronic warfare environment, as you can see in the exposition here today, there's a lot of areas in counter-drone, anti-personnel capability, capabilities, signal processing, all those sort of areas. And it is rapidly changing and being updated quite regularly. And we've found unless you keep up with technology and update your training material and keep your people up to speed, that's one of our primary areas of focus.
We're here with Robert Miller of Lexus Australia. He's going to take us through some of the things the company does and also talk to us about the company's expectations from this show and plans for the Southeast Asian market and also Malaysia in particular. Robert, if you can just start us off with what the company actually does. I've spoken to you before, but it's quite complex. So if you could just explain it to me again.
So Lexus has a suite of simulation products where we believe the difference where it stands out is the fact that we can connect the simulation to the live, and that could be live mission systems. So it's allowing the operators to sit and train as they would do on a daily basis. So no need to come off of working laptops. We can stimulate a live mission system. So this product here is called Ascot 7. It has the ability to connect to the outside world via the Link 16 and Jerry. We also have Asterix, which is a live radar protocol, and we can also bring in ADS-B, which is again another civilian protocol for aircraft, and also AIS for ships. So the connection between the simulation world and the live through Ascot 7 and also Sonar comm solution. So we're basically about providing our customers, the warfighter, training tools that will help them prepare as they go in hard.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you very much.
So Robert's given us a very interesting insight into what Lexus Australia does and the Ascot 7 simulation tool. This wraps up our coverage from Defence Services Asia. Stay tuned to our channel for more defence news in the days to come.